No mai haere mai. Before we get started, I'm just going to check if there's any members on live stream. No? Okay. So please start the live stream. Is that on? Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai ki te hui o Committee Hapori Ahurea me ngā Rangapu, Committees Culture and Partnership Committee I tēnei rā. Welcome everybody to the committee. Before we start, emergency procedures are just up here. If you haven't been in before, just have get yourself acquainted with the procedures. I'll give you a minute. And we will just get the karakia up on the screen. Thank you. Me karakia tātou, please join in. Hang on a minute, that's the wrong karakia. It's a different karakia. It's okay, we'll carry on. Yep, we'll carry on. E noi tātou, whakatakite hau ki te uru, whakatakite hau ki te tonga, kia mā kine ki uta, kia mā tara ki tai. E hia ki ana, te atakura, he teo, he hoka, he hauhu, ti hei, mauri ora. Thank you. We'll head to apologies. I have an apology from Mayor Barry for lateness. He'll be here soon. Are there any other apologies? So I move the motion that the apology be accepted. Do I have a seconder? Sorry, Councillor Barrett. I now put the motion which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. I declare the motion carried. So we move to public comment, and first up we have Barbara Hay.
Oh, apologies, Chair, there's conflicts of interest. Or was that after? Aroha mai. Aroha mai.
Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Kia ora. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity just to present briefly about our proposal to place a building on Walter Nash Park for Arohanui Strings and other local groups. I'm not going to speak very long because I suspect the council's rather tired of hearing my name over the many years I've been trying to get this underway. But I would like to introduce to you Kuma, who we met when we were doing some door knocking around the park to see what the local people thought of, and he sold us on the idea even if we weren't, so that was just fantastic. So I just thought it would be useful for you as the council to hear from somebody who backs onto Walter Nash Park as to what the benefits might be. So over to you, Kuma. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm one of the residents of Teita, and this project, Aranui Strings, is really going to impact the kids around our area. And I'm musically orientated, so I think it is a plus for us and also the kids. So this will also keep them out of mischief and engage them in a positive way. So that's all from my side.
Thank you. As some of you will know, we started this process prior to COVID, and then of course, like many other things in this life, things ground to a screeching halt at that stage. We currently own a building that is sitting up at Britain's, thanks to the Wellington Regional Council, who sold it to us for the princely sum of $1. And we have to thank Britain's very much because they have not been charging us rental, but that's about to change. So yes, everything's aligning as far as we can see, in that we have received quite significant support from local groups and the community. Robert, who's our administrator at Arohanui Strings, and I went for a big door knock around the perimeter of the park and largely got a very positive reception. A lot of people know about Arohanui Strings already because they rock up to the free concert, the annual free concert, and they have had children involved in the past. Sadly, at the moment, we have a minimal presence in the Taita Pomare area, simply because we do not have a premise there. We're currently working down at St Bernadette's for our main group, St Bernadette's Parish Hall. What that almost immediately shows is that unless the opportunity is available very locally, we lose the children. Arohanui Strings started in Taita at St Michael's School, and we had huge involvement from the children at that stage. But getting to Arohanui Strings is an ongoing challenge for families. So we are desperate to find somewhere within the Taita Pomare area. We are aware of the social needs in that area, and we have seen the results of children being involved with Arohanui Strings over many years. And we know that the outcome for those children is life-changing in many cases. Arohanui Strings at the moment has 50-odd ethnicities involved, many of them refugee migrant children. So it's not just the music, it's actually providing a sense of place in our New Zealand society, and that mixing and mingling of the cultures can only be good for New Zealand. So that's our case really. There's lots in writing, but we thought we'd come along today just to give you an opportunity to ask any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. He pātai tō ngā mema. Does any members have a question? Councillor Barrett.
Kia ora. Barbara, do you have any rough costings as to how much it's going to cost to have it transported onto the park if it should go ahead, power installed, all that sort of thing?
We have put aside over the last dozen years about $100,000, and our costings would suggest that that will cover it. Britain's, I think, is about 25,000 from memory. Yes, have to say we don't have exact costings from the council, but we are pretty confident that we're going to be able to get the building on site, utilities attached, etc., etc. The building itself has some. It needs a facelift. It needs a paint job, and it needs not a lot internally, but we have had the offer of a local builder to help us with the internals, just to maximise the space as much as we can. It's a stage one. Stage two, which we're asking for immediately because there's no point in not, is probably some years away unless we find someone, a benefactor who would help with an extension just to make the building completely useful for us, but it will still be useful immediately for us. So yeah, we're quite confident. We're hoping that the building can become a place where other groups in that area can meet, that is affordable for them. Walter Nash Centre is sitting there, but the groups we're thinking of can't afford the highage rates. So we're thinking of just enough to help bring an income in to cover the costs of the building. So that's our intention. Yep.
Thank you, Barbara. Councillor Shaw.
Thank you for coming in. And Arohanui Strings are a bit of a favourite of mine. I've seen them perform a number of times and looking forward to their performance at Symphony in the Hutt in a few weeks' time. Look, one of my questions is also related to Councillor Barrett's, and that's about does your organisation have the ability for the ongoing maintenance of the building over the next few years?
And I think, again, that is around making sure we have that building fully utilised, and all the indications are there that it will be, and that we are asking for a nominal amount from the groups that use it, just to help carry on with that maintenance. There's also a huge amount of goodwill for Arohanui Strings, and we are quite confident that because it has a history, it has a very big part in Hutt City and beyond, that we will find sponsors to help with that. We know we have some links with some big property companies who have, I won't say it's official, but have said that there will be support available. So we're reasonably confident our reputation has preceded us and that we will be able to attract healthy sponsorship.
And my second question is about the numbers. How many kids do you currently have, and where do you mostly draw your kids from?
We've got something close to 360 children currently in the programs. That's across Wellington and the Hutt. It's almost 2/3 in the Hutt and the other third in Wellington. We are moving into wind in the Hutt in the next term. We've got brass started in Wellington already. And the kids come from basically all over. We've got kids that come from Upper Hutt. We've got a group in Wainui now, going very well with 40 children. So they're from all over the whole area of the Hutt Valley.
Any other questions? We'll keep moving. Thank you for that. And we will cover off more in the further papers. So next up, I call on Tash Thompson and Kaz, Nainai Boxing Academy. Haere Kumua, please come forward. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Awesome, thank you. First of all, kia ora, my name's Tash. I'm the manager at Nainai Boxing Academy, and beside me is one of our lead female coaches, Kaz. Just want to say thank you firstly for making time for us today and considering our proposal to lease the land at Nainai Park. A little bit about Nainai Boxing Academy. We've been in the community since 2006. From there, the doors have been open and the gym has been packed, and it's no different today. Just in addition to the proposal that was included, we've met with Randwick and talked to them about how we can collaborate with other sports organisations that are already present at Nainai Park. And we look to host box fit classes for the rugby league club. And it also worked out quite well that their training days align with our class times. So if they were to be rained off, our classes would be finished and they'd be able to come through and use our academy so that they could still host their trainings in our space as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm pretty new to this, so if my voice is shaky, excuse me. This is, really flash, but really appreciate you guys having us here today, and thank you.
Thank you, Tash. Kaz, do you want to add? Yeah. We'll be getting a further update further in the meeting. We cover off further, but are there any questions? Councillor Shaw.
Thank you for coming in. I'm going to ask you the same question I did with Aranui Strings. Does your organisation have the ability to fund this and any ongoing maintenance?
Yeah, I think Nainai's been really lucky with the reputation we've built around the Hutt City and even further than just here. So we've never really had any challenge like this before, but know that we have great supporters and fundraisers around us if we were to go out there knocking. And the maintenance, we've been maintaining our building since 2006 and the doors are still open and the pictures are still up, so I think that will be sweet as well moving forward.
Thank you, and again about capacity, so what are your current numbers now? And if you move into a new building, what do you think the projected numbers are going to be?
Yep, so at the moment we have 110 members that engage 2 nights a week, Monday through Friday, and if we had the space, it opens us up with the ability to dream and increase those classes as well and increase the engagement. Because currently on the wait list at Nainai we have around 140 young people wanting to be in the space too. So we could build 2 gyms in Nainai and pack them both out. So hopefully being able to problem solve that wait list as well and increase the classes that we have too.
Thank you. Any further questions? No? Thank you, Kaz. Thank you, Tash. And we'll cover off more in an update.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Members, do we have any conflicts to declare? Councillor Briggs?
Yes, Chair. I'm a trustee of the Naina Youth Charitable Trust. So under agenda item 6, private use of public land, I'll remove myself from the discussion and decision making.
Thank you. Any other conflicts? Okay, so we'll move on and we will have a precedence of business in accordance with Standing Order 10.4. That's where we're going to move a couple of items. Precedence of business to item 8, neighbourhoods and communities focus area, ethnic and migrant community, and private use of public land. And that's mainly because we've got visitors and we don't want to keep you here through the many items we're covering. So we'll move to neighbourhoods and communities focus area, ethnic and migrant community. I'll ask Langi to come forward, and we also have Dr. Arif Ali and Judah Siaming, and also another executive member, if they could come forward. Thank you. And of course, Bartol. Thank you, Bartol, from Welcoming Communities Coordinator. So we'll hand it over to you, Bartol.
Kia ora koutou and assalamu alaikum, Madam Chair and fellow councillors. Ko te tuatahi ka mihi ki nga mana whenua o tēnei rohe ko tarana ki whānui te atiawa nā te toa rangatira e tūne. I start with acknowledging the mana whenua of this land that we live in. Kia ora koutou, I'm Batul Arif. I'm the Welcoming Communities Coordinator and the Community Facilitator for our ethnic communities of interest, and I joined Council last year in July. My role sits in the Programs and Innovation team within the Connected Communities Business Unit. I'm joined here today by two of our guests who are our key partners and stakeholders, and as well as a member of our ethnic communities. So Dr. Arif Ali, he's the General Manager for English Language Partners for the Hutt Valley region and Porirua. And I have Judah Simeon, who's here with me. He's the Interim General Manager for Changemakers Resettlement Forum and also the executive member of African Communities Council of Wellington. I'm here to speak to the paper which share the voices of ethnic communities that includes our former refugee and migrant communities. I will take the paper as read. For context, the report demonstrates our neighborhood and communities approach for the way we engage and work alongside our communities. Over the past 9 months, the priority has been for me to build and strengthen meaningful relationship within the ethnic communities and our stakeholders, and support community-led initiatives, facilitating connections between the communities and council and the communities themselves. Investing our time in building relationship with our communities and stakeholders has led to significant benefits for our communities as well as for the council. We have witnessed more ethnic communities participating in various council activities. These engagement has also enhanced civic participation, with many expressing that we have connected with the council for the first ever time, and also felt included in the decision-making process as well. This report also highlights notable collaboration among the community organizations in various successful events that held in Te Awa Kairangi for the last 9 months with the whole council support. The report also includes the data and insights on our ethnic communities, which is available to our council officers and our elected members to inform our mahi and decision-making. One of the things that I would like to highlight from the data report is that our city has a diverse population. And from one of the data that we have more than 147 ethnicities within Te Awa Kairangi ki Tai. So as of 2018 census, Lower Hutt has ranked as 5th largest ethnic communities population in Aotearoa. And we have witnessed a notable population growth, particularly in the Asian and Mela communities, which have surcharged by 33 and 35%, which is 19% more than other ethnicities. So as our communities, as our population of our ethnic communities continuously growing, I really appreciate Council's investment into the welcoming communities role and the ethnic communities role. Kia ora.
Kia ora Bartol. Thank you very much, and thank you for your work, and the report is very good, so thank you. I'd like to ask now a couple of, I'll open it up to questions. But before I do, I've got a question to our two visitors. How has the welcoming communities, the project been going for you so far, and what's been the best part of it?
Kia ora koutou. As Batul said, my name is Judah, and I am currently the acting general manager for Changemakers, and I'm also part of the board for African Communities Council of Wellington, which is an umbrella body. We are a registered society, an umbrella body that brings all the African communities together, because there's so many diverse communities in the Wellington region. So far, we really appreciate the welcoming communities here. We've had a few projects. Earlier this year, we had the Africa Bazaar here at Dow Square. That brought a lot of communities together, and that was the highlight of our partnership with welcoming communities. And we've got another project that's coming here. So when I'm talking about the Africa Bazaar, I'm talking about the African community side, because I'm wearing two hats here. And then on the refugee communities, former refugee communities, this is diverse ethnic communities we're working with here across the Wellington region, across the Hutt Valley. We've got a World Refugee event coming on the 22nd of June, and it's going to be here in the Hutt for the first time. That is being held at Nainai College, and we've partnered with, through welcoming communities, so we've partnered with the Hutt City Council, and we really appreciate the support we get from there. So it's been a really good journey for us with the welcoming communities here.
I would like to, Kia ora, I would like to mention. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to be here. And what I would say is the communities that we serve, migrant and ethnic background communities and refugee communities, they are verbal communicators. They love interactions. They love how we operate is built on relationships. This welcoming communities and the council's commitment to have this role here in Lower Hutt has helped us enormously before, and especially in the last 1 year. We have seen many events happening in Lower Hutt, as well as opportunities to participate in civic activities, such as from English language partners' point of view, we had a really good workshop where urban design team came and spoke to 45 people who are pre-literate in their own language as well as English as well, and we had interpreters with them. And with the help of welcoming communities and urban design team, they had, for the first time, they had the opportunity to engage in a consultation process, how this consultation process works, and they gave their feedback for the Nainai Park development, which was well received by the urban design team as well, and it is reported in this report. I can give more examples if you have time.
We'll open it up to, I'm sure there's a couple of more questions. Questions, councillors? Okay. Deputy Mayor Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you, Bartul, for all this work you're doing and for bringing guests in to share the experience of the connectivity of the welcoming communities. I've appreciated seeing you out at everything and with officers behind you as well. And the growth that the whole cultural connection has had through the Hutt City has been really fantastic, and it's evident in your report. We started this project and it was through a government fund. I just want to know, I suppose this question mightn't be for you, it's for council per se, the continuation of that. Is government still in a mindset to keep contributing to that, or how does that work? Do we know that? Perhaps that's one through the chair to officers. But thank you so much, Bartle.
I'll just hand to Director Andrea.
So the contract, I'm just going to look at our Head of Connected Communities to make sure I'm getting this right. The contract is for 3 years, and at the end of 3 years, we would be reapplying for funding.
It's well worth it.
May I mention that I work with the other councils as well, from Porirua to Upper Hutt and Masterton, Wairarapa as well. I appreciate and thank you for expanding this role and making it full-time, though the contract is part-time from Immigration New Zealand, but your leadership and the support from the Connected Communities team leader as well as from the council, it's really appreciated. Without making it full-time, we would not have been able to conduct all those activities which we have been doing in the last 1 year or so. Kia ora, thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay, well, with that, I will move the motion that the committee notes and receives the report. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Briggs. I have the motion, which has now been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, I declare the motion carried. And I just want to thank you very much for coming along. There's an amazing amount of work that you've done so far, and we will be watching in interest the work that you do forward to the betterment of all of our communities. So thank you. Kia ora. So we'll now move to item 6, which is on page 24, and it's private use of public land leases. And I'll ask Arthur Nelson, Head of Parks and Reserves, to speak to the item. Kia ora, Arthur.
Initially, thanks very much, Chair, for having me speaking to this report, and councillors as well. Just a very quick intro, really, more than anything else. So the report today considers the application of 2 very different community organisations, being Arohanui Strings and the Nainai Youth Charitable Trust, to utilise council land to continue to deliver the services they have been doing for well over a decade. Whilst the methods of the 2 organisations do differ and could be considered at different ends of the spectrum, the commonality is that they're both there to assist young people and children to access opportunities and become the very best versions of themselves. Often in these situations, council cannot provide everything, and this is why it depends on these situations for community groups such as these 2 to come forward and offer those additional opportunities for people who might otherwise not have got them. The organisations, and again, I have been working at this council not that long, but I've been in the field of leases for quite a long time, and there's invariably challenges. What these 2 groups are proposing is that they will fund and manage their own work and their own services moving forwards. We have yet to draw up any conditions of terms and lease of the lease. Bearing in mind, as I say, that these can be quite challenging situations, we would look to make sure that there was sufficient reporting mechanisms in any lease documents that were put forward that would allow us to be sure that the two organisations could continue without necessarily impacting on council services or requesting council aid. On that basis, that's probably all I've got to say in terms of an introduction. Take it that everybody's read the report, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Kia ora, thank you, Arthur. I'll open it up for questions, but before we do, I've got a question. We're in the midst, we know, of asset review. There's clear difference between this situation and others. Am I right that that they own the asset and maintain it, so there's no impact on council?
The general thrust of the applications is that, yes, they purchase the buildings and they maintain them at their cost. So no implications, as I say, for council. And like I say, we always have to keep a close eye on leases moving forwards because, as I say, the headwinds of finance changes quite a lot. So we just need to be sure that, but we'll build in sufficient conditions to ensure we get a report on that basis.
He pātai nō ngā mema. Is there any other questions to members? Councillor Shaw and then Deputy Mayor Lewis.
Thanks for the report, Arthur. My question is about the use of these proposed new facilities as being shared facilities for the community. Will the council be involved in that, or will we oversee to make sure that these facilities will be shared by different groups?
So both Arahanui Springs and 9A Boxing have indicated that they'd be open for people to share, and you heard the president has mentioned that earlier. One of the things we do need to consider moving forwards with all these leases we have on council land is that we do maximise the use and potential for them. So we would be quite actively working with the groups concerned to ensure that they were maximised.
Deputy Mayor Lewis.
Thank you, Arthur. My question is around, and it's just looking at the maps, they look like the buildings are situated next to hard surfaces for accessibility. I was just confirming that, just in case they needed pathways or driveways or anything like that to access, and if so, who would be paying for that?
Yeah, both proposals do have either car parks or footpaths in reasonably close proximity. If there was a need to do anything extra, then clearly we would be anticipating that the organisations were able to deliver that. But generally speaking, the two sites concerned do have reasonable access.
Any further questions? Therefore, e whakatakato ana au I te mōtene, I move the motion and I'll ask that the recommendations are put up on screen. Okay, so there's 3 and 4 as a decision-making members. So you will have read these. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Barrett. Is there any debate? Councillor Barrett.
Kia ora, Madam Chair. I'm really happy to support this because I think what we are looking at here, firstly, the officers are going to keep a very close eye on how this is managed. But secondly, we're looking at children who come from areas perhaps that wouldn't have the same opportunities that others may do. The third reason that I'm going to support this and that I'm really happy about is that the amount of support that they've got. One, they purchased, especially in Arohanui Springs, they've purchased a building from Britons for the princely sum of $1. Secondly, they have had the foresight to put money aside for a great deal of time, $100,000, I believe, in the coffers for the transportation and utilities to be set up. They have also stated that they will encourage other groups to use these facilities, which is what we're hoping to happen with a lot of our facilities in the Hutt. At present, at least with Aroha Nui Strings, they've got 360 children already on their books. With the Nainai Boxing Club Academy that's been around for years and that I've personally been to see a number of times, they also are a group that have taken in children who otherwise would have been misplaced on our streets. They've given them opportunity, they've given them purpose, and they've given them lives, and that to me is more important. They too have thought ahead, they've done their homework, and they've come to us saying, we're placing it in your hands, please give us a choice here to do the right thing for our communities. So I support this wholeheartedly. Kia ora.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Shaw.
I also speak in support of the recommendations. Aranui Strings and the Nainai Boxing Club have both provided really compelling reasons to seek a lease on public grounds, and these are detailed in this report. And provision for these activities not currently available within the Hutt, so the benefits for our tamariki and rangatahi are pretty big. I believe that the biggest benefit is what it brings to the social wellbeing aspects for the families connected with these two organisations. I applaud the drive, the energy and the compassion shown where activities are being offered in low socioeconomic areas with little expectation other than turning up, having a go and making one feel really good about themselves. And I think the social impact is huge for these families, so I certainly will support the recommendations.
Kia ora, Councillor Shaw. Councillor Tupou.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank the, in particular, the boards and the staff of both organisations. And I can recall having a conversation with Barbara a couple of years ago about this vision that they had in the great cross-pollinisation of the rangatahi in that space. And you can't get more of a contrast between sports and classical music. So I think that's a great testament, Madam Chair, to the talent that thrives here in Te Awa Kairangi and the importance that we give to it, that we nurture and foster these young people to go on and succeed in their future. So I want to thank all of the whānau, the parents, those who fundraised, and this is a great example, Madam Chair, of the public-private charity partnerships that make things happen. Kia ora.
Any further discussion? Mayor Barry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to certainly reaffirm what the previous speakers have said in supporting the recommendations that are in front of us, and I'm fully confident, particularly with the trust that we have seeking this permission, that they will do a great job and they will be something that we can all be proud of here in the Hutt. I suppose I would just say, and I know the officers have been very diligent on this, and remind everyone that we are currently going through an asset review and looking at a number of ways that we are able to utilise buildings and spaces that we have right across the city. And we do have a number of organisations who are really struggling with what to do for their future in regards to assets that they may hold historically as well. And I suppose it's just really reinforcing what is there around expectations that that ratepayers won't be in a position to be able to provide any funding for these initiatives. And I know that everyone is going into their eyes wide open, so I'm not concerned at all. But I suppose it's just really important that we reinforce that, particularly for some of the requests that are coming through from other groups and other individuals in our community. But fully confident, fully support, and I'm looking forward to seeing the progress.
Thank you, Mayor Barry. I'll now put the motion which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour say aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Arthur.
Thanks.
And thank you both groups for coming in. We're now going to move to the recommendation to Council for approval of the Arts and Culture Framework, page 8 of the agenda, and I'll ask Carl Chittum to come forward, Head of Arts and Culture. Kia ora, Carl.
Kia ora tātou. I'll take the papers as read. As you'll see, we have two documents that have been put forward. There's the Arts and Culture Framework, where we've worked alongside the policy and strategy team to refine it considerably since its first draft that was put forward at the previous meeting. And we've also tried to align it closely with other documents currently being developed within Council as well. It has guiding principles in areas of activity which will assist officers in their work and can also be referred to by the community. And then the second document is guiding principles for public art and infrastructure projects. In preparation for this document, we reviewed what other councils were doing currently in this space, and there was a real variety of applications around funding towards art outcomes in infrastructure projects. So we've landed on a scaled approach which enables council some flexibility given our current financial situation. Now happy to answer any questions.
Kia ora, Carl. He pātai tō ngā mema. Does any member have a question? Deputy Mayor Lewis.
Thank you. Hi, Carl. Thank you so much for the report. It's good to see this strategy coming together. I suppose my question is around the connectivity of all the departments and how things are going to flow and who's knowing what's happening. Because in this paper I see the Te Tira Māori work plan has some art, and the urban development or urban design team are in there as well. Then you've got a community arts advisor. Is there a flow chart or something that, you know, speaks to it all?
So the core, I guess, ability for council teams and business units to work together is around the table of documents that we're developing at the end, which includes guidelines and processes that will help different business units understand what's going on. And also there's I guess, a higher level of oversight from arts and culture across all of that activity as well.
And just a follow-up question, I also note that in the drafting of public art and infrastructure, just in looking at where art is placed currently, public art, depending on the piece of land, it is that body who controls that piece of land that looks after the art. That's historically how it worked. If something went wrong, if it was parks and reserves, they did the repairs or whatever, or is it still, how does it work? Because it says Hutt City Council have the right to repair or do whatever to the artwork.
I think a sort of overarching principle of public art has been that, well, will be moving forward, that there'll be a greater amount of oversight by arts and culture across all of the projects to ensure that there's more understanding about how it's realised and that all parts of the process are followed in a rigorous way. And having worked on the arts and culture framework, it's been really helpful working alongside other business units to get a better understanding of what is working and what isn't, so that we can kind of adjust that moving forward.
Thank you for that. That's music to my ears.
Councillor Shaw.
Oh, thanks, Carl, for the report. It's very well written. That's quite exciting. I think I ask this question all the time, but is there provision in the framework for a member of the public to get a piece of public art commissioned or considered for approval?
So in the table of documents that sits at the end of the framework, there's a document that we're developing at the moment, which is around the commissioning process for new works, which will include works being proposed by members of the public, as well as projects being proposed internally by council officers.
If there's no further questions, I'll get the recommendations put up on the screen. Thank you. I whakatakato ana au I te mōtini. I move the motion that the committee recommends the noting and the decisions on point 2. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Morgan. Is there any debate? Deputy Mayor Lewis.
I'm just going to speak again and want to thank you for putting your overview and, you know, as you said, you've talked to all the departments and found out how they worked. I think that was what was missing previously. There was just too much individual stuff going on. So to have this all together and oversight that the whole council can follow is, as I said, music to my ears. So thank you so much for the report, everybody.
Any further debate? Carl, I just want to thank you for the report. It's really good to see that the different parts of art and culture across the city are now intertwined and there's different ways of working with it. I think Nainai Paul is an excellent example of how we can do art that suits the place, suits the community, and we have got some guidelines and principles that allows us to adapt to the changing needs of how we'll do art in the future. So thank you. I'll put the motion forward, which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour say aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Thank you, Carl. Moving to item 7, page 46, Avalon Skate Park update. And I'll ask Matthew Richardson, Senior Projects Manager, to come forward.
Kia ora koutou, Madam Chair, councillors. So I'll give a bit of an overview of what's happened over the last last month or so since late March when we came to council and presented you with where we were at. And then Matthew will be available for any detailed questions around and where we were at. So since the 27th of March, a lot of work has been done on design based on the feedback that we got at that meeting. Due to the timing and needing to get onto construction before the main Riverlink works start, we are coming back to you seeking basically your approval based on the design to head in, based on the concept design to head into detailed design. So what's happened since the 27th of March? There's been a lot of consideration around disability and neurodiversity access and use of the skate park facility. We've confirmed that for the demolition of the existing skate park and for landscaping and materials, we'll be using local providers for that works. We've been looking at, from a security and an accessibility perspective, the lighting, and the lighting will be, as we go through the final detailed design, looking at timers as to when they turn on and when they turn off, depending on time of day and season, etc. And also looking at the shelters, because as is quite rightly noted by Councillor Morgan, it was a potential jump hazard. Or creative people could have got up on the roof and tried to jump off with their skateboards. So we've made some adjustments to the design for that as well, and also just from the skateboard advisory group, some changes in the mini bowl and a couple of other things around usability and making the park work as well as it can. So as I'm saying, Matt's doing a great job leading this project. We have, this does need to be finished. Construction needs to be completed before the old skate park can be demolished, which is the kind of kick-off of the main Riverlink works, because this can't start on the interchanges and the other works until this is done. So time is a little bit of the essence, and we're aware that we are constructing during winter and into spring. So there is a reasonable chunk of contingency time in there, but we know it rains quite a bit and it's damp and the ground conditions as well. So that's why we're coming to you now to get that approval. So open to any questions, Madam Chair.
He pātai tō ngā mema, Councillor Barrett and then Councillor Parkin.
Kia ora, Madam Chair. Just a very quick question. Should this go out in this capacity on page 63, may I ask that we refer to it as Te Awa Kairangi Skate Park will be a skating community space for all ages and abilities, please, to enjoy. And just to note that there is a minor spelling mistake there. Thank you. As in broader.
Kia ora, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Parkin. Oh, would you like to reply to that? Yeah. Councillor Parkin.
Kia ora, thank you for that. I note that we're taking on officers' recommendations and requests in terms of the amount of mowing, which I know can be an ongoing expense, but in doing so we are also removing or reducing the amount of permeable surfaces. So could you please consider introducing semi-permeable surfaces where you're removing areas that would previously be mowed, bearing in mind our spongy city approach?
Through you, Chair. Councillors, thanks for welcoming in this afternoon to answer these questions on this fantastic facility. The skate park
I'm just going to butt in. You can step away a little bit. We're hearing you very loud and clear.
I do that
myself.
I have a very loud voice anyway. The landscape design isn't confirmed yet, so Ishmis, the local landscape architect, are delivering the landscape design. So that is still open for debate through the Parks and Reserves team on what they would like to maintain, as they will be maintaining this post the defects liability period as part of the wider Riverlink project. We added soft landscaping components in there, mainly in native vegetation, just to give a feel for the final developed concept design. But yeah, we are open to feedback. We did ask it of the community and through Parks and Reserves, so that feedback is welcome. That design is happening right now. It won't be too different, most likely, from what you see here in terms of we are pushing for native vegetation over grass in areas that allow it for maintenance purposes, and everyone loves seeing plants instead of grass in most situations. But yes, definitely open to feedback.
Thank you. Councillor Shaw.
Thank you for the report and fabulous design. It's going to be a real asset to Avalon Park. A question you may or may not be able to answer is there's a speed skating ring just based opposite Fraser Park on Percy Cameron Street. Is that going to be linked into this amenity in any way?
Just clarifying, speed skating as in not specifically. The design we've tried to encourage Convict coming up with will cater for as many different wheel disciplines as possible. As you can probably appreciate, wheeled skating involves people moving rather quickly. That is the direct opposite of allowing children and amateur users in a facility like this. So given the restraints we've been given by the Riverlink project and the size that we've had to build this under, as you'll be aware, the resource consent requirement of building to not of a lesser standard, we're replacing at Melling. We were limited in funding and size of the facility, being around 1,200 squares. So a really whirlwind answer, not really. That's probably one few disciplines that haven't been factored in, but I'd like to see how quick you could get up to on rollerblades or something in there when it does open. But most other wheel disciplines have been catered for. Yep.
Deputy Mayor Lewis.
Thank you. A very good report, and naive person here if the skate park looks fantastic, but I'd appreciate a glossary of terms for things like hubbers and Eurogap and things like that to actually know what happens in this space. Demonstration, yes.
Tongue in cheek, I appreciate. I still am struggling. We're halfway through building it, and some of them are still foreign to me. So definitely understandable, fair comment.
Any final questions? Could we get the recommendations up and I move the motion? Council notes and develops a concept design attached to Appendix 1. 2, approves the 50% detailed design on the project and can progress, provides officers with any feedback. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Lewis, is there any debate or discussion? Deputy Mayor Lewis.
As I said, the only skate park I see is down in Petone Rec. It's just a rampy thing that goes backwards and forwards, and the kids just love it. And I can see this park, as Councillor Shaw said, is going to be such an asset in the area, and it's going to be exciting, so well done.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Lewis. I'm just going to add thank you for your work. The report is great. It's really good to see that there's a lot of work going into this. At the same time, we're doing looking at sports and how we run sports. 2 of my nephews were professional scooters and they used that a lot. So the way that we go forward, they live in the South Island, so they no longer scoot, but it's different ways of getting young people into different types of sports. That's not just the formal. And it's been so exciting today to hear this, as well as to hear around the boxing, as well as to hear around the music of Aroha Nui Strings. So thank you for that work. I now put the motion, which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, no. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Turn to item 9 on page 101, Te Tira Māori Work Plan Update. Kanahi Butler, Hare. Tumawaki Māori will speak to the item. Kia ora, Kanahi.
Tēnā koe te mārei kura. O tira wo tai hāpai a koe, mihi mana nui ana kia koutou. Yes, just noting the progress made against the Te Tira Māori Work Plan since it was last reported on last year, May, and then also noting that moving forward, Te Tira Māori Work Plan will be integrated and reported alongside Te Herenga Kairangi, the Rautaki Māori, which will be due in November this year. But yeah, happy to answer any pātai. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora koe, ka nehi. He pātai tō ngā mema. Questions? Members? Carl? I whakatakoto ana au I te mōtene. I move the motion that the committee receives and notes the information. 2, notes the progress made against Te Tira Māori Work Plan and notes that Te Tira Māori Work Plan reporting will be integrated and reported alongside Te Herenga Kairangi Rautaki Māori report due in November 2024. Māwai e tautoko. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Briggs. He tohi tō te tahi. Is there any debate or discussion? Carl? And I ka pōtetia te mōtene. I now put the motion, which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Ka whakapuaki au, ko mana, I declare the motion carried. Kia ora kanahi.
Rawe tēnā koutou.
We'll move to item 10, draft terms of reference for the Homeless Oversight Advisory Group. Page 109 of the agenda. Rachel Holbrook from Policy Lead to speak. Kia ora, Rachel.
Tēnā koe, kia ora tātou.
So on the 28th of February, this committee approved a refreshed action plan for the homelessness strategy. That refreshed action plan included the establishment of an oversight advisory group to oversee the implementation of the strategy. The committee asked that officers report back on the 1st of May with the terms of reference for the oversight group. The draft terms of reference is attached to the paper. It outlines the purpose, the membership and the roles and responsibilities of the oversight group. The purpose includes overseeing implementation of the refreshed action plan, improving internal coordination within council, advocating on behalf of council into the various networks that we're involved in, and reporting progress back to this committee. The membership of the oversight group includes officers from policy team, the Connected Communities team, and the urban development team, with the ability to pull others in as necessary. In terms of next steps, the oversight group will report back to this committee in September on progress with implementing the action plan.
Kia ora, Rachel. He pātai tō ngā mema. Any questions, members? Councillor Shaw.
Thank you for the report. It's great to see the detail. On page 112, there was reference to a Hutt Valley Hoarding Working Group. Can you just sort of give us some clarification on what that's about? Page 112, yeah, Hutt Valley Hoarding Working Group. Is that within the paper or within the attachment? Appendix. Number 3.
I understand that's a group that does exist and that we have some interaction with, but in terms of the details of that group, I could get back to you in relation to that.
Thank you. We'll get some more information back to you. Councillor Shaw, are there any other questions? I will move the motion if we could get the recommendations up on the screen. That the committee notes the following items. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Shaw. Is there any debate or discussion? If you just stay seated for a minute, Rachel. No, I will just note that this has been really great work. We are in very changing times in the homelessness space, and Hutt City Council has made some very strong moves in the last few years in supporting homelessness and the groups that we support to help others in need. This takes it that step further of us being more coordinated in all the work that we do across the council, but equally in the community. There is a large homelessness group that we provide advice to, but overall we will be able to provide future policy settings and advice for our changing environment, and we're making real attempts now, making real attempts for us to understand that picture now and how it might change in the future. So thank you for your work. I now put the motion, which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Thank you, Rachel. Kia ora. Next, we've got the Rangatahi Youth Action Plan, page 116. I'll ask Shelley Biskin to come forward, and Callum. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou, Madam Chair and councillors. I'll take the report as read and just like to give a brief introduction for the report and the action plan. So I've been the steward of this project for the last few months, but I'd like to start by acknowledging the mahi of engagement lead Rochelle Carrig in the creation and development of the action plan. The Rangatahi Action Plan is the first of its kind for this council, setting out clear goals and actions for engaging with one of our priority audiences. It represents an innovative approach that we're looking to test and improve, and if successful, uses a model for other priority audience engagement in the future. The plan collates and aligns existing resources across the organisation and with partners already operating in this space to deliver on focused engagement with rangatahi and youth. These alignments and partnerships are about efficiency and performance, increasing the value of existing trusted relationships instead of building new ones from scratch and splitting attention. The plan is highly transparent in setting out our approaches with clear targets for accountability, while affording flexibility for innovation in delivering on these targets. We received significantly more responses from rangatahi in the consultation that we ran on the draft plan than we have to date for the long-term plan, which I think shows the value of deliberate engagement with priority audiences on things that affect them. The responses that we did receive were rich with suggestions and detailed feedback. The survey had open questions for people to be able to give feedback, and the vast majority of submitters did give very, very detailed submissions along with that. And that really demonstrates the passion and great ideas that our rangatahi have to offer. In response to this feedback, we elevated in priority helping rangatahi understand how council works and their own rights as it relates to council's mahi. And that will be delivered in part through the creation of an educational program. That was something we heard come through very strongly, both through the survey and the in-person workshop that we ran with students. We've already heard numerous great suggestions from rangatahi themselves on how such an educational program could be delivered in a way that is most effective. At the same time, the number of responses we did receive ultimately does show the reason why this plan is important to improve our overall engagement with this audience. With Council's endorsement of this plan, officers can match new opportunities and contacts in this space to specific actions and outcomes. And we're already starting to see this happen within our team. And Shelley has an example.
Yeah, thank you. Kia ora koutou. Yesterday I was at a 10-year plan hui at Hikoikoi Management Trust, and as a result of doing around the room introductions, I approached Fire Jenny Dittmer at the end of the hui to talk to her about the opportunity to have a catch up with her education and rangatahi support hat on, to talk to her about this rangatahi action plan that we have, and she was really excited about that opportunity. So just knowing that now we've got a plan that exists that we can share wider with other relationships that we can build, it was an exciting connection and touch point that I think we'll get a lot out of.
And I'd also just like to say another example, just in this very committee meeting, hearing from a lot of the previous speakers and the organisations that are here, that is further examples of connections that can be made to deliver on this action plan. But happy to take questions.
Kia ora kōrua, and thank you for your work on this. And also the engagement out in the community. Shelley, both of you, so you've been everywhere in the last month. So thank you for all of that work and supporting the elected members as well. He pātai tōna mema. Any questions, members? Councillor Parkin.
Kia ora, thank you for the report and the proposal. Under Goal 2, Action 2, one of the things that we have on there is establish a student leaders network. I'm just wondering how that can be utilised. As councillors, we're invited to the future, sorry, dyslexia is going to get the better of me. Festival for Futures. And as part of that, the invite also went out to our rangatahi as a youth council. We don't have a youth council at the moment. How do you see this plan working so that we can actually engage our rangatahi through that type of invite?
To the Student Leaders Network specifically, I think one of the things that came through in the feedback, particularly in the workshop that we had, our Student Leaders Network, was the importance of diversity and inclusion within that space. I think a lot of the students there had concerns that a traditional sort of student leaders network that includes probably just head students and sort of top performers at schools would not be getting a sort of a comprehensive voice. So I think what this overall plan is about in that sort of rangatahi engagement is that by diversifying the voices that we're sort of hearing from, we can better represent the community as a whole. So to address, I guess, the question of if we receive an invite for rangatahi representation, a student leaders network could fill that role, but I think what we'd look to do is understand the nature of that invite and the specific concerns and sort of topics that would be being addressed and be able to match that to the rangatahi connections or partnership groups to make sure that we've got the best match and that we've got good representation there.
Follow-up question, Councillor Parkin.
Follow-up, so who would be facilitating that?
Just clarification on the question, so facilitating the connection between, that would fall to us and the engagement team.
Would you like the email forwarded to you?
Absolutely.
Councillor Morgan.
Kia ora. I just want to say thank you so much for the work on this. It's been a really exciting day, as members have spoken about, with rangatahi and the things that are coming through. And a lot of those are spaces and things to be used and will just be wonderful for the city. So really endorse the work that's gone on. Love the action plan. And I just had a couple of little questions. And I think it bounces off Councillor Parkins actually in that, just can you clarify, my understanding is the funding for this piece of work is 0.25 of a full-time position. Is that correct still or no?
I can, sorry, through you, Chair, I'll jump in on this. The funding, so there's a 0.25 position as part of the Connected Communities role, which has a youth portfolio. So the purpose of the plan, the fundamental idea is that it coordinates existing resource. So there will be resource reprioritised within the engagement team to deliver bespoke rangatahi engagement, including the coordination of the Youth Leaders Network and other engagement tactics. So that's using a resource of the engagement team. We'll also be working closely with Connected Communities Kaimahi, including that role in terms of reaching into the existing networks and the work that they do. So it's not one specific role or specific set of funding, it's coordinating existing resource and roles that are working on this mahi across council.
Kia ora. And just to follow up, thank you for that, just clarification. I think it's fantastic that it is going to be spread across the organisation as well, because there's all sorts of things going on. So just in that though, I guess knowing that with that part of that position, and I think it's just in the context of driving things and having that point of contact to coordinate with all across the Hutt City will be pretty critical, given that we've got 18,000 youth rangatahi between 12 and 24. So there's a lot of work in the strategic plan, and I guess I'm just highlighting that point that, those funding streams, it's great to hear there's going to be some other support for that piece, because that's pretty important. But my question is just hoping that it's not going to be too much pressure on that one person, and it might be to you, Jared, that's not going to be too much pressure, is it, given that it's the limited time and resource in that context?
Through you, Chair. So the action plan will be owned by the engagement team and via the engagement lead. So that will be the critical role that coordinates the delivery and ensures that the internal resourcing is coordinated and delivered. So again, it's not necessarily the role within Connected Communities who's responsible as 0.25 for this role, but we have effectively a senior engagement manager who will be responsible for the delivery and ensuring that we can report progress and we actually deliver on the outcomes.
Any further questions? I'll move the motion, if you could put up on the screen. With the following noting and decisions. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Morgan. Is there any debate or discussion? No? I'll now put the motion, which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Shelley and Callum. Item 12, Emergency Management Update, page 130 of the agenda. And Anthony Robinson, Emergency Management Lead, speak to the item. Kia ora, Anthony.
Kia ora koutou, Madam Chair, committee members. Thank you. So I take the report as read. Thankfully, from an emergencies perspective, a relatively quiet period with a mini tornado in December, but with a period dominated by the potential for an acute water shortage, which engaged our efforts for some considerable time, and also a portent to the coming summer and again going into that potential crisis mode. You will be aware that a number of reviews have been released over recent months into responses by councils across the motu in response to severe weather inquiries. The most recent being the inquiry completed by Sajiri Mataparai. A consistent theme in these reports is that there's much to do in the CDM sector, and that elements of the CDM system need a lot of attention. Analysis of those reviews and inquiries is not provided in this report, but we will be conducting a lessons learnt review and a workshop with CLT towards the end of this month, early next month. And in parallel, at the regional and national level, there are a number of working groups looking at those inquiries to determine how to respond best to them. I'm happy to take questions.
Te pātai tō ngā mema. Any questions, members? Councillor Shaw.
My question relates to page 130.4 about progress in developing marae. I guess from my own understanding, we've got 7 marae here in the Hutt Valley, and we should never underestimate the ability of those marae to function, especially in emergency, and I think that's been seen with Cyclone Gabrielle and stuff. Will we be able to stick that plan up to support the marae, because they're there, ready, willing and waiting, and have been used in the past. So I'd just like to really see some traction on that, if it's possible.
Yes, and as those inquiry reports have indicated, there is significant capability that's available within marae and iwi. And that work for us is undertaken at a regional level through REMO. And it's quite a measured approach that they're taking at the moment to make sure that we take in all the lessons from other responses across the motu, but also to make sure that we approach how we deal with marae and iwi in a consistent way across the region, so that we can roll out similar training programs and approaches.
Thank you.
Just add with that, under the LTP, that we've sought funding that will also help community groups, service groups such as marae, attract grants that will help build resilience and capability in the community.
Anthony, I just have a follow-up question to that. You've said it's the region's responsibility for the engagement with marae. It's been in the updates now several times that work is progressing slowly with marae. How do we progress that? If there was an event next week, people would still want to go to marae. So what can we do as a committee to request that regional group get on with that work?
Yeah, so as I said, that work's undertaken by Remo. We're certainly kept appraised of the progress that they are making. What I can say is that in later this month, we're running a series of exercises, and a number of pilots have been rolled out in that exercise. They've been conducted in Porirua. So the Porirua EOC will have Māori liaison takahiri as a function, as part of SIMS, and they're also engaged one of their marae to act as an emergency assistance centre. So the learnings from that will hopefully quite quickly inform how we roll out across our rohi.
Through you, Chair, I think I just would like to add to that there's also other considerations that we're making locally in terms of looking at opportunities to involve marae and iwi Māori and Mataoka in our training opportunities in terms of building that capability. So that's something that Anthony and the team are certainly looking at. And I think what we do know is that marae have talked quite regularly and openly about requesting support for equipment caches and having what they need in the event of an emergency to make sure they're well resourced. I think that's why the funding that's coming on stream from 1st of July as part of the LTP will be really critical. So the question in terms of how do we progress and effectively supercharge this work, elected members are doing that already through the funding that will be made available, and we can start granting that.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, so I will move the motion that the committee notes and contents of the report. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Lewis. Put the motion forward. It's moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Kia ora. Thank you, Anthony. We'll move to item 13, Neighbourhoods and Communities Directors Report. And Andrea will speak to the item.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take the paper as read. Just noting a couple of highlights there that in April we saw the launch of Māori tupu planting for the future. We're also just about to sign the contract for the new Moera Hub project, and visitor numbers at our community hubs are continuing to improve. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really great report. Any questions? Councillor Briggs.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I agree it's a great report and reflection of the work that's taking place around the city. And just want to note as well, it's fantastic seeing our community hubs being accessed more post-COVID. Has there been any work done as well around our neighbours in the region as well as around the country on what their numbers are tracking like as well, and whether they're seeing a return to public space?
Yes, most of our function heads regularly check in with their colleagues at other councils, and the story has generally been the same, that people's behaviours have changed since COVID. A lot of people have shifted to services and accessing things online, and people have just shifted to other types of activities as well. So very similar story around the region, and in fact the return as well, the increase, the slow increase is similar as well.
Any further questions? If there's not, I'll move the motion that the report be received and noted. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Briggs. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Kia ora. We'll move to item 14, information items. Whakatupu Ngaingai, progress update, page 157, and Andrew Quinn will provide us an update. Kia ora, Andrew.
Kia ora, Madam Chair, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, elected members and staff. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Ko Andrew Quinn, Takawingua, and this is the progress update for Whakatupu Ngaingai for the month of March 2024. I just note the progress made on the three parts of the projects on the recommendation. Just to note there that recommendations C and D refer to the development of Walter Mildenhall Park. It wasn't clear in the text there, but essentially that recommendation relates to the community engagement thus far and the concept design plans that are presented in the appendices. Just another comment or another highlight is the particular focus and pleasure that we've had in engaging with rangatahi, particularly on the park, the community artwork that's been developed for both the pool fitness centre and the community centre, and really to engage and acknowledge the work done by the project teams that are out there, the design teams that we work with, and specific mention to our urban design, parks and reserves, Te Tira Māori, and particularly our comms and engagement team that have been working really hard to join us and make sure this project is a success that it is. So I'll take the rest of the paper as read and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. He pātai tō ngā mema. Does anyone have a question? No, Carl. I'll move the motion if we could get them up on the screen. Yeah. Okay, so we have the noting, receives and notes the information. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Morgan. Put the motion forward. It's been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for the update.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. We'll move to the forward program on page 176 of the agenda. Does any member have a question? No? I move the motion that the forward program 2024 for the Communities, Culture and Partnerships Committee be received and noted. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Lewis. It's been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. I declare the motion carried. I've received no questions, so we'll move to karakia mutunga. Please join me in the karakia, me karakia tātou. Mai te tohu rangi ki te tohu nuku, te aho i roto, marama i roto.